You are live now, so I am going to make you host. Okay, Professor, you can go ahead and share your screen now. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
And your host.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night. It's a pleasure meeting us once again. Our able excellency. Today is a unique day, a special day. We thank God for today. We pray that God will come to empower every one of us, give us good health of mind and body. I pray that all what we are going to discuss today will bring glory to God and every one of us will be happy before the end of the day. So looking at the slide, the topic before us today is gaining credibility and influence for mission. We're going to look at the other parts, opening prayer. I'm going to pray for a prayer for humility. Oh, Father, give us the humility which realizes its ignorance, admit its mistakes, recognize its needs, welcome advice, accept rebuke. Help us always to praise rather than criticize, to sympathize rather than discourage, to build rather than to destroy, and to think of people at their best rather than at their worst. This we ask for the name's sake. We are welcoming every one of us once again to this program of today, gaining credibility and influence for mission. I know you have your expectations. Please reflect and write down one key expectation you have from this section on gaining power and influence, which may be of a question I would like to answer is, I would like to know more about whatever. My major interest is this. Can you write in the chat? We are going to reflect and share on this. Do your leader have credibility with your organization executive? It's a question. You can put it on the chat box. Why and why not? I repeat again. Do your leaders have credibility with your organization executive? Why or why not? 2, do your leaders have credibility with other members? Why and why not? Put it on the chat box. Before the end of the program, you know the real answer to that, what actually emanates from it. Overall goal of the section for leaders to learn that when we appreciate and use power and influence, appropriately, we gain credibility. And better able to empower others to use power and influence appropriately. We want to achieve the goal of developing spiritually committed members in our organization, and also to engage organization requires empowering others. That is, engaged organization requires empowering others. It is also requires that we use our own power and influence appropriately to achieve global goals, sustainability development goals, global peace, and God's mission. What are the learning objectives? We're going to describe 5 ways to enhance your credibility in a new organizational role. We're also going to look at least 5 ways to enhance your personal and position power to influence others for mission. Learning objective, we're also going to use the influence appropriately to accomplish exceptional work as a leader. What are the contents like? We're going to look at gaining credibility in a new role, gaining and enhancing personal power, also transforming power into influence. The next slide that is shown now, how am I qualified to handle this great topic? How there are some criteria that will make one to be qualified. By the grace of God, these are the areas I feel that I'm qualified because of who I am, by the special grace of God. I'm the Vice-Chancellor of IIU-Africa Head and Country Director of International Internship University. I'm the CEO, founder of Dynamic Peace Rescue Mission International, and the King of Peace School. I work with experience of over 35 years. I've been a chancellor of 3 or 4 higher institutions. I work as a manager in organization and advisor in organizations. I'm also a certified career counselor, certified global trainer, certified mentor development program. I'm also a fellow in the Institution of Data Processing and Management. I'm a fellow in the Institution of a Professional Manager and Administrator. I'm a fellow of Peace Operation Training Institute, USC. I'm also a faith formator, a catechist, coordinator, and chairman of various areas. I'm a doctor and a professor in different fields of study. I have a Bachelor of Science and Accounting, Finance. I'm a late theologian. I have a Master's of Business Admin and Marketing. I'm a fellow and finalist in peace operation in the following specialized courses: human rights, police study, ministry study, civilian study, gender awareness, logistics, covering peace support, humanitarian relief, and security operations. With this, gives me the opportunity to be able to handle this great topic. The next slide, we look at the rules for the group. Keep beginner's mind, irrespective of what we are, what we know. Let us pretend as if we don't know anything so that we can grab these information. They are very vital, very solid. Remember freedom to choose, to choice, whatever freedom, you have the freedom to take it or you don't. Use opportunity to learn from each other and peer learning. You enjoy and have fun with what we are going to do today. The feedback, questions, clarification, and contribution based on what I've said so far, you can put it on the chat box. We look at the skills we are going to get from this topic. Diagnostic survey for gaining power and influence. Step 1, respond to the following statements. by writing a number from the rating scale that follows in the left hand, which we call pre-assessment. Your answer should reflect your attitude and behavior as they are, not as you would like them to be. Be honest about it. This instrument is designed to help you discover your level of competence in leading positive change so you can tailor your learning to specific needs. When you have completed the survey, use the second level key at the end of the chapter to identify the skill around the skill area discussed in the chapter that are most important for you to master. Step 2, after you have completed the module and implemented your improvement plan, covering up your first set of answers, then respond to the same statement again. This time is the right hand column, which you call post-assessment. When you have completed the survey, use the scoring key at the end of the chapter to measure your progress. What are the rating scale? 1, if you're able to take 1, that shows that you strongly disagree. If you take 2, that shows you disagree. If you take the scale 3, that shows you slightly disagree. If you take 4, that shows you slightly agree. If you take 5, that shows you agree. And 6, you strongly agree. What are the assessments like? In a situation in which it is important to obtain more power, what do? Choose 1. I strive to become highly proficient in my line of work. You strongly agree or you disagree? You choose within that rating mark, or you strongly agree. 2, I express friendliness, honest, and sincerity towards those with whom I work. You choose. 3, I put forth more effort and take more initiative than expected in my work. 4, I support organizational, ceremonial events and activities. You pick in the rating scale. 5, I form a broad network of relationship with people throughout the organization at all times. 6, I send personal notes to others when they accompany something significant or when I pass along important information to them. 7, in my work, I strive to generate new ideas, initiate new activities, and minimize routine tasks. You score yourself either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. 8, I try to find ways to be an external representative for my unit organization. 9, I'm continually upgrading my skills and knowledge. 10, I strive to enhance my personal appearance. You score yourself. Do you agree on that statement? Do you disagree? Do you slightly agree? You choose between 1 to 6. 11, I work harder than most co-workers. Do you actually work harder? If you agree, you say, yes, I agree, 5. If you strongly agree, you say 6. You put the points. I encourage new members to support important organizational values by both their words and their actions. 13, I gain access to important information by becoming central in communication network. 14, I strive to find opportunity to make reports about my work, especially to senior people. 15, and maintain variety in the tasks that I do. Score yourself. 16, I keep my work connected in the central mission of the organization. When trying to influence someone for a specific purpose. 17, I emphasize reason and factual information. 18, I feel comfortable using a variety of different influence techniques, matching them to specific circumstances. If you strongly agree, you agree, or slightly agree, do the points there, so that at the end of the period, you know what you scored and how to improve yourself to have that credibility and influence in life, so that you will be happy and everybody around you will be happy, the society will be happy. I feel comfortable using variety of different influence technique, matching them to specific circumstances. 19, I reward others for agreeing with me, thereby establishing a condition of reciprocity. '20, I use a direct, straightforward approach rather than an indirect or manipulative one. 21, I avoid using threats or demands to impose my will on others. When resisting an inappropriate influence attempts direct at me, when resisting an inappropriate influence attempts directed at me. 22, I use resources and information I control to equalize the minds and threats. If you agree, if you disagree, you pick within 1 and 2, 6. 23, I refuse to bargain with individuals who use high pressure negotiation tactics. 24, I explain why I can't comply with reasonable sounding result requests by pointing out how the consequences would affect my responsibility and obligation. If you agree, disagree, slightly agree, agree, strongly agree, within 1 to 6, as I already said. When trying to influence those above me in the organization. 25, I help determine the issues to which they pay attention by effectively selling the importance of those issues. 25, 26, I convince them that the issues on which I want to focus are compatible with the goals and future success of the organization. 27, I help them solve problems that they didn't expect me to help them solve. Strongly disagree, 1. Disagree, 2. Slightly disagree, 3. Slightly agree, 4. Agree, 5. And strongly agree, 6. 28, I work as hard to make them look good and be successful as I do for my own success. Having looked at this, let us now look at the result as in the scoring keys. Gaining the next slide. We have 11 skills area in what we have just assessed. We have expertise as in the personal characteristics. We have interpersonal attractions. We have the effort you make so far, skills. We have legitimacy. We have centrality, which is your position characteristics. We have visibility, and we have flexibility. We have relevancy as skills. We have using influences, and we have resisting influence and increasing authority. Among the 28 bullets, which one does expertise personal characteristics? When you look at number one of the question, it says, number one says, I strive to become highly proficient in my line of work. You can now see that you are an expert in your personal characteristics. When you now look at 9, I am continually upgrading my skills and knowledge. That shows you have that personal character, you are an expert in your personal characteristics. When you now look at interpersonal attraction, you look at number two. Number two said, I express friendliness, honesty, sincerity towards those with whom I work. Look at that. And when you now look at 10, one is 10 telling, I strive to enhance my personal appearance. That shows you have that interpersonal attraction. So now look at the efforts, skills, effort. Look at number 11 and 3. Look at 3. I put forth more effort and take more initiative than expected in my work. Look at that. When you now look at 11, bullet 11, you now say, I work harder than most co-workers. That shows you have the skill of effort. So let us look at the other skill. The other skill we have effort. Look at legitimacy. Legitimacy. Look at point bullet 4. 4 says, I support organizational ceremonial events and activities. Look at that. And when we look at 12, that shows you have the legitimacy role. And then look at 12, it says, I encourage new members to support important organizational value by both their words and their action. When you look at centrality about your position, your position characteristics, you look at number 13. Number 13 says, I gain access to important information by becoming central in communication network. And when you look at 5 also, 5 said, I form a broad network of relationship with people throughout the organization at all levels. That shows you have that centrality skill, which is your position characteristics. We also go to the next skill. We look at visibility skill, visibility. Look at number 6 and 14. 6 and 14. 14 says, I strive to find opportunities to make reports about my work, especially to senior people. Look at that. Number 4 of it now tells us, I support organizational ceremonial events and activities. Sorry, when you look at number 5 said, I form a broad network of relationship with people throughout the organization at all levels. White 13 is saying, I gain access to important information by becoming central in communication network. That is the area of being central. Visibility now, let us look at visibility. 6 and 14. 6 and 14 say, I strive to find opportunity to make reports about my work, especially to senior people. Let us look at 6. 6 is saying, I send personal notes to others when they accomplish something significant or when I pass along important information to them. That shows that person have that skill of visibility. Excuse me. When we look at the other skill of flexibility, we look at 7 and 15. 7 and 15 says, 15, I maintain variety in the tasks that I do. Okay, let us look at 7. 7 saying, in my work, I strive to generate new ideas, initiate new activities, and maximize routine tasks. Let's go to the other skill. That is relevance. 8 and 16. Let's look at 16. 16 says, I keep my work connected in the central mission of the organization. I keep my work connected in the central mission of the organization. Look at 8. 8 is saying, I try to find ways to be an external representative for my unit organization. That's so you have the skill of relevance. Now look at using influence. Using influence is the next skill. We have 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. Let us look at them. 21 says, I avoid using threats or demands to impose my will on others. To impose my wills on others. 12 said, I avoid, 20 says, I use direct, straightforward approach rather than an indirect or manipulative one. 19 said, I reward others for agreeing with me, thereby establishing a condition of reciprocity. Look at that. 18 said, I feel comfortable using a variety of different influence techniques, matching them to my specific needs, circumstances. Look at that. When we look at 17 also, exactly what we just read, resisting influence. You are resisting the influence. Let us look at 22. 22, you are resisting influence, which is the next one. 22, 23, and 24. 22, 23, 24. I use resources and information I control to equalize demands and threats. 23. I refuse to bargain with individuals who use high pressure negotiation tactics. I explain why I can't comply with reasonable sounding requests by pointing out how the consequences will affect my responsibility and obligations. That shows you have that, you use your influence. You restrict resistance of influence. Increasing authority. Increasing authority. Look at the area of 25, 26, 27, and 28. 28 said, I work as hard to make them look good and be successful as I do for my own success. 27, I help them solve problems that they didn't expect me to help them solve. That shows you have that increased authority. When I look at 26, I convince them that the issue on which I want to focus are compatible with the goals and the future success of the organization. I haven't looked at that. Let us look at the issue of using influence strategies. Influence strategies. Indicates by writing the appropriate number in the blank how often you use each of the following strategies for getting others to comply with your wishes. Choose from a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being rarely, with 3 being sometimes, with 5 being always. 1, if you don't comply, I will make you regret it. Do you do it regularly? Do you do it rarely? Do you do it sometimes? do you do it always? You score yourself either 1, 3, or 5. 2, if you comply, I will reward you. Do you do it sometimes, always, really? Put it on the chat box. 3, these facts demonstrate the merit of my position. These facts demonstrate the merit of my position. Really, sometimes, always. 4, others in the group have agreed. What is your decision? Do you use it often? Sometimes, always? 5, people you value will think better or worse of you if you do or do not comply. Do you use this statement? Do you use it often? Do you use it sometimes, or really always? Score yourself. At the end of the period, you'll be able to justify it, justify the means. Number 6, the group needs your help, so do it for the good of us all. Look at that. That's what number 6 is saying. Do you use this statement? Is it often? Is it really? Is it sometimes? 1, 3, 5. You score it always. I will stop nagging. I will stop nagging you if you comply. Do you use it often, really, sometimes, always? 8, you owe me compliance because of past favors. Do you use really, sometimes, always? 9, this is what I need. Will you help out? This is what I need. Will you help out? How often do you use it? Really, sometimes, always? If you don't act now, you will lose this opportunity. If you don't act now, you will lose this opportunity. How often do you use it? Really, sometimes, always? I have moderated my initial position. Now, I expect you to be equally reasonable. How often do you use these statements? Really, sometimes, always? Put it on the chat box. 12, this request is consistent with other decisions you have made. How often do you use this? Really, sometimes, always? 1, really? 3, sometimes, and 5, always. If you don't agree to help out, the consequences will be harmful to others. How often do you use it? Really? 1, you score 1 there. 3, you sometimes. 5, always. I am only requesting a small commitment now. How often do you use it? Really, sometimes, always. State it there. 1, 3, 5. Number 15, compliance will enable you to reach a personally important objective. Compliance will enable you to reach a personally important objective. How often do you use this? Really, for 1, sometimes for 3, and always 5. Score yourself. These are the strategies being used. How often do you use all these strategies? By the time you score yourself, let us look at the score notes, score key. We can now see we have the skill areas. We have a retribution, which is use of coercion and intimidation. That's retribution. That's skill. The other one, we use exchange bargaining, reciprocity. That is exchange and bargaining. We also have the third skill area, reason, persuasion, based on facts, needs, based on value, based on goals, based on the truth one, so as to improve the society, improve the organization. So let us now look at it practically. Retribution. Retribution talks about number 1. If you have that item 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, what is one saying? One is saying, if you don't comply, I will make you regret it. That is, you are coercing that person. And intimidation is intimidation. Is it good in our society and organization? Let us look at number 4 also. He said, others in the group have agreed. What is your decision? Look at that. You are intimidating, using of coercion and intimidation. Let us look at 7 also. I will stop nagging you if you comply. That's the decision statement. Number 10, say, if you don't act now, you will lose this opportunity. That's intimidation, coercion. 13, say, if you don't agree to help out, the consequence will be harmful to others. Okay, let's look at the skill area of reciprocity. That is exchange and bargaining. Look at 2. 2 is saying we have 2, we have 5, we have 8, we have 11, we have 14. Okay, let's just look at 2. 2 is saying, if you comply, I will reward you. Bargaining. You have that skill of bargaining. 5 is saying, people you value will think better or worse if you do or do not comply. Look at that. That's bargaining essence. It's you owe me compliance because of past favor. It's essence bargaining. 11. If I've moderated my initial position, now I expect you to be equally responsible, reasonable. Look at that. Let's just look at 14. I am only requesting a small commitment now. That shows you are bargaining, you are giving, exchanging words. Okay, let's look at the other skill. If you have that skill from, we have reason. That is persuasion based on facts, needs, goals, values. So let us look at 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Let us look at 3. 3 is saying, this fact demonstrates the merits of my position. Look at that. That's reason, which I feel will be okay. Reason. Let's look at 6. The group needs your help, so do it for the good of us all. Good. This is a statement that will make you to do the work very proper. Number 9 says, this is what I need. Will you help out? Look at that. You are reasoning. This reason. Will you help out? For you to reason it. 12, you say, this request is consistent with other decisions you have made. Look at that. Which is okay. 15 is saying, compliance will enable you to reach a personally important objective. I won't score yourself. You now look at the other area of, you can see primary influence. Among the 3 skills area, the primary influence strategy is the highest score. Among what you have done so far, the score you have given, you can now see, when you look at the score, the highest score, you look at the primary score, the primary influence strategy. When you look at the secondary influence, which is called the second highest score, the second highest score is called the secondary influence strategy. Having looked at that, we go to the next one. We want to look at the skill practice. Skill practice. Here we're going to look at the naturalizing unwanted influence attempt. Naturalizing unwanted influence attempt. Here we observe as feedback form, and we give ourselves rating as 1 is what? Low. 5 is what? Is high. Just like we have the strategies. The strategies are retribution strategies. We also have the strategy of reciprocity. We have the strategy of reason. So let us look at neutralizing the retribution strategy. How does it go? 1, you score yourself low or high. 1 is low and 5 is high. 1. Use countervailing power to shift dependence to interdependence. Focus on the value of mutual respect and cooperation. Pointed out the negative consequences of both parties or fair exploitation. If appropriate, suggest alternative. Score yourself rating 1 or 5 if you are using it. 2, confronted exploitative individuals directly. Here, you challenge the right to intimidate and threaten, stated what he or she was willing to do to stop action. You score yourself low or high. 1 is low, 5 is high. 3, if necessary, actively resisted. If 1 and 2 fail, that is the 1 above and 2 fail, did what was necessary to stop retribution attempts, minimize consequences of resistance to others. Minimize it. You score yourself 1 or 5, low or high. Nationalizing reciprocity strategies. What do we do there? You would either choose low or high, which is 1, 5. Examine the intent of any gifts or favor given activities. Ask questions to determine the motivation behind favors. 1 or 5, low or high. Confronted unfair bargaining practices. For example, escalating or reciprocally compromising tactics. Question unfair bargaining tactics. Exploit attentive ground rules. Score yourself 1 or 5. If necessary, refuse to bargain with individuals who use high pressure tactics. Score yourself low or high. If 4 and 5 above are seen, failed, terminated the negotiation process. Let us look at the other area of neutralizing raising strategy. Here, we look at number 7, explain the negative effects of compliance on performance. Describe effects on personal responsibility of a client with requests. If appropriate, suggest options. I will stop nagging you if you comply. If okay by you, 1 as low, 5 as high. 8, defended personal rights, assertively restated position, emphasizing personal rights, low or high. If necessary, refuse to comply with requests. If 7 and 8 fail, put lightly, but firmly terminate discussion. If you have any comment, put it on the chat box. We are going to look at it and discuss it. Gaining credibility in a new way. Gaining credibility in a new way. You are highly welcome. We are going to look at this exercise together. No, by tomorrow, we're going to say more about it. Let us just look at the exercise. We are going to look at it again tomorrow about gaining credibility in a new way. This exercise is a group discussion. Maybe I will put it for us to go and look at it. Maybe tomorrow we start that discussion on it. The group exercise, 20 minutes. The new organization chairman. A new organization chairman named Ambassador James Stone assumed office with hope of building on relative success of the past administration that are active in a number of activities and programs, including organizing leadership training for all executives of various departments and sections in the organization, promotion of organizational activities geared towards getting inactive members engaged, ensuring that certain departments and sections were working harmoniously and smoothly in the organization. Ambassador James Stone had just turned 40, was 5 years old in the organization, and had held a leadership position for 2 years when he was elected at an election that was repeatedly advertised with the agenda of an election, but had only 14 people in attendance. Less than 1 year into his tenure, there were remarkably changes for the work in the vibrancy of the organization. Meeting attendance was at the lowest in the 5 years organizational activities. We are sprintly attended an effort to raise funds for a number of the organizational activities we are met with dismal failure. When invited at an executive meeting to give an account of his stewardship and prefer solution for turning things around, he stated that nobody listened to him and blamed this on his being from a minority state. Some other concerned member dismissed this as an excuse, pointing out that the first organization chairman who left an impressive record at the end of his tenure was also a minority state. They claimed that he was not doing enough as he lacked the confidence to approach the big and other members of the organization that will make his job far easier. The organization was at a loss as to how to resolve the issue. He felt that his hands were tied as he was constitutionally elected. Moreover, many members deliberately stayed away from election as they did not want to invest the time, energy, and other personal resources needed to hold such demanding organization position. The chairman has 2 years left in his tenure. Discussion. Question. What would he have done to gain the needed credibility to influence the organization effectively? 2, what would you advise him to do now to make a substantial change before the end of his tenure? We have been discussing on credibility and the influence. Maybe by tomorrow, we have a full details about it. But meanwhile, this is a take-home against tomorrow, so that we continue from tomorrow. I need to appreciate everybody listening, appreciate our good work, and listening. Tomorrow, we'll be able to resolve most of the issues that we have raised here. And the take-home exercises I've given, we'll be able to do all, and everybody will be happy. I need to appreciate you all. I appreciate IIU. Appreciate everybody listening. As we all know, International Internship University is a leading virtual education system and global brand configuration, which is the most valuable and trusted worldwide. A well-reputed in delivering innovative programs. Globally, it is a trusted name for quality training program and is committed to providing better and virtual education to all the young learners of the globe. In a short span of time, IIU has spread its wings in 195 countries and 6 continents under the strong leadership of its visionary founder, Advocate Ph.D., a committed, visionary, and inspiring social activist, a passionate educationist from the last 2 decades, providing education to students from various social and cultural backgrounds. I appreciate you all for listening. Tomorrow we are going to continue. If you have any question now, you are free. I appreciate you all. Thanking God and appreciating IIU and all our team for all the work they have been doing. We are so good. We are good people. And I pray that God is going to keep us and make us to be the people He wants us to be the change. As we know, IIU is the change. IIU bring the change, and IIU the innovation in the education. Thank you all. All our listeners and supporters, may God continue to empower us as we keep on empowering other people. I appreciate you all. May God continue to bless us. And we are praying that God will teach us to be always true and honest in our motion, our words, and action, and give me the courage to do what is right and noble in His sight, so I can be humble instrument to reflect the light of God. Amen. Thank you very much. May God bless every one of you listening. May God continue to strengthen us. Tomorrow is another day. We are going to continue again tomorrow. Thank you very much. God bless you all.